Hey guys, today on the channel I wanted to share my favorite way of propagating houseplants, propagation boxes. As always, this video is broken down into sections, so if you want to skip ahead to a certain part of the video, you can do so. This is your complete guide to prop boxes, so let's just get into it. See a little better. What I use are these clear containers. I actually got these off of Amazon. They came in a pack of, I believe, 5, and I will link them down below in the description for you. So these have worked really well for me, but you can use any translucent container, even if like this to-go box here. The bottom is black. The top is translucent. That is fine. As long as it allows in some light, you should be good. Let's open this baby up. Let this be a warning to you. You have to make sure that you undo the hook before you try to take off the lid. Otherwise, you'll break the handles. Here we go. Here's my box. Let me give you a look. There are several options as far as substrates go for your prop boxes. You can use perlite, you can use Leca, you can use sphagnum, which is what I do prefer, and that's what I've got these props in at the moment because I do attend a lot of plant swaps and I will give a lot of my plants away. Putting them in these little mini solo cups does make it really easy to keep like each plant contained. I do even label some of the plants, so if I attend a plant swap, it makes it really easy for people to know what they're getting. I can pop them out quite easily. You see he's got quite a bit of root action going on. I could repot this guy if I wanted to. I'm taking off my glasses. You can even mix substrates. So for instance, I've seen people take Leca on the bottom of their prop boxes, and then on top of that they'll add the sphagnum. The roots will root into the sphagnum and then continue to grow in Leca, and that could be a great option if you're using Leca, which I do have the majority of my plants in Leca, but I do have plants in other mediums as well. So although I do find having them in cups easier, you don't have to. You can just put sphagnum on the bottom or your medium of choice. Give your box a good amount of light. Don't shove them in a closet unless you have a power outlet in your closet. Just buy like what I have behind me, a thing of grow lights, and have the grow lights coming out covering your boxes. That works too. I keep this box in pretty bright light, so it does dry out pretty efficiently. If you're not giving your box as much light, it's not drying out. That may be when you want to add some holes in the top of your box, just so things don't rot. For whatever reason, I may have overwatered my plants, given them a little bit too much, or they're just not drying out properly. I'll take my lid off and let it get some airflow in there, because as you can see, this top is very wet. It's a very humid environment. So my advice to you is just when you first get your prop box going to continually check on it, you know, once a week or so, and just make sure that everything is looking good. When it does come time to water, I prefer rainwater. Rainwater does include nitrogen among other things, but nitrogen is key to plant growth. So rainwater is the best thing that you can use for your plants. If it's available, use it, and you'll have healthier, happier plants because of it. Now, I know that's not an option for everybody, so you know, you can also use tap watered, filter watered, whatever you currently water your houseplants with is totally fine. Now let's talk about liquid dirt. It's right here and it's an all-purpose plant food, organic. You can use it with all of your plants. So it's not just for prop boxes, it's for everything. It's amazing. I swear by it. I always notice a difference. Sometimes, like, there's been periods where I haven't used it because I've just, for whatever reason, I'll remember I have it and I'll start using it again, and I do notice a big difference. I love this stuff, I swear by it, and I will link it down below in the description as well for you. I highly recommend you get yourself some. Not endorsed, not a sponsor, nothing. I just love it. So you mix it in with your water. I use just half of a cap full of liquid dirt in my watering, and I'll just spray it on my plants. This is one of my favorite sprayers, which I will link it down below in the description. If I can't find this one, I'll find one similar. But it's just, I love watering all my plants with it. It's got a spray nozzle and a single jet shooter, so you can really just go around to all your houseplants. It does make watering your prop boxes, your moss poles, and your mounted plants much easier. You can also use a spray bottle, any spray bottle. You know, there's times where I've just kind of poured water slowly with a watering can, and that works as well. It's just a little bit harder to control the water. The spray thing is just more efficient. The main thing with your prop boxes is you just need to make sure you don't over water them. You gotta let them dry out between waterings, because if it just stays wet, mushy plants, mushy everything. If you enjoyed watching the video thus far, please give it a big thumbs up and hit that subscribe button down below, because I've got more tips on how to care for your plants. This is what I do, so I really appreciate your support. It means the world. Let's continue. I don't need you. Typically, I'll take just single node cuttings and put them in my prop box. So all of these started as single node cuttings. I got this from a prop wall where you take one, leave one, and this is all new right here. This long piece here, that's all new growth. Now, I do propagate a lot of Hoyas. I love Hoyas, so I've got a lot of Hoyas in my box, and I do experiment. And one thing about Hoyas that not everybody knows is that you can propagate your Hoyas from just a stem. So here, this guy. So imagine this guy without these two little leaves, because that's all new growth. He was just an internode, and it does have to include a node. Hoyas, among other plants, not all plants, but Hoyas, one plant that does contain chlorophyll within its stem, so it doesn't need any foliage to grow. It can grow just from the stem alone, but again, you need to make sure it has that node, because that's where the energy is stored, and that's where the plant will start to produce leaves from. So this is the internode here, and then we have the node. This is a cutting I just took of my Hoya australis that I'm going to show you how to put into your prop box in just a moment. And Hoyas tend to get quite leggy, so just chop off the legs and try to propagate them, which is what I did here. And he just started off as these two leaves, and I kept the long stem on him just to show you what would happen if you didn't cut it off, because you can cut it off and have a nice compact plant, but I like to make the most of my plant. So one thing I do is I'll keep these legs on here, and see, eventually he'll start growing new leaves. This little piece will continue to grow and shoot out more roots, which right now it's kind of looking for a spot to grab onto. I've got Hoya retusa in here. I've got, I always get that one confused with another one. I don't know why. Hoya, this is a Hoya retusa. Show you some more new growth. Here I have a Micin, philodendron Micin. This guy has been a really slow grower. I'm finally seeing some progress on this guy. He's been in here for a few months now. This is a great place for your slow growing Hoyas, because the humidity, they really like that high humidity. Since I've put him in the prop box, he's really picked up pace when it comes to growing. Even slower than him is this guy, but I have found that these thicker leaved type Hoyas do tend to be just slower growing plants in general. So actually I checked up on this guy's roots, and actually you can see a little bit coming out there. So he's got, even though he doesn't look like much, he's got a pretty good root system under there. Yeah, it just takes time.
Yeah, I need a new apartment.
Let's get into it. First, I've got to find a plant that I feel like wants to be rehomed. You can transfer them into their new pots whenever you desire, really, but I would wait at least till the roots are about 1 to 2 inches long. Yeah, I think I'm gonna do some micans because I've got a lot. So we're gonna check out these roots. There's a lot of new growth going on here. Or I might do my begonias because I've got a lot of those. And begonias seem to like not be as popular anymore. With sphagnum, sometimes these things kind of look like roots. Most of them aren't, but just be careful. You know, I just kind of pull it off gently. If things pull back, then I will leave it alone. If it's going in Leca, you want to do a pretty good job of getting all of it off. If it's going in soil, you know, you really don't have to be very meticulous about it. Now, the great thing also about transferring plants with the transition from sphagnum to Leca is a lot easier than from soil to Leca. So there you go. You can see he's got a nice substantial root system here going. I'm going to clean off some of his friends as well. And then I'll go ahead and pop them up all together in one pot just to consolidate things.
I don't need you, 'cause I got high ambitions, a boss bitch vision. I'm granting all my wishes. I don't need you, 'cause you've been blocking me and you've held me back from day one. Always kept me down so I couldn't fly on my own. Used to think that being single.
And I've got some props in this guy as well I want to show you. I believe this is a Philodendron Macaulay's finale. This was a little tiny piece that fell off of the plant that I just was like, let's see if we can make something of it. And there you go. It's starting to take off now. And then this guy is also the same, Macaulay finale, whatever. I think this piece actually broke off of that piece. I don't remember now. What I'll do is I'll add liquid dirt. Woo! This was the first time I've done that, and of course it's when I'm recording. And did I just get dirt on my face? Probably. So I'll spray this directly in the box, but you can also soak your moss in it as well when you're making your prop box. Just dampen it. I'm just gonna put a little bit in the cup first. I did put a little hole just to kind of help it dry out a little bit better. Well, this guy's actually got 2 nodes. 1, 2, and then I just pack in round it like so. I reuse these cups over and over again. After I take out the props, I'll just reuse this for the next prop. You can reuse this over and over. So I never throw away my sphagnum. I'll just replace the plants with new plants and continue to use that sphagnum. The only reason I would get rid of sphagnum or throw sphagnum away is if they're just like there's a pest infestation or something that I just don't want to deal with. I'll throw that away, but even root rot and things like that, I'll reuse it. I may not reuse it right away, like I'll let it sit for a while, add some of our moss. Obviously this won't be a great place to put a Monstera deliciosa because it's going to outgrow its container quite quickly, so you know, think about the plant you're going to propagate. But I'm gonna go ahead and put, what should I put in here? Right, so I went ahead and cut a little piece of this Hoya retusa. He fits really nicely in this container, and I'm just gonna place him down like so. And I'm gonna kind of tuck him in here a little bit because you do want those roots to be touching the sphagnum. Now, Hoya is a pretty smart plant, so they tend to figure things out pretty well on their own, but just to help them out there, you want to make sure that they're nice and cozy. Any other plant, it's like this philodendron here or these pothos, you want to make sure that they're facing upwards. Top of the plant is facing up. That way they know which way to go. There we go. And now, yeah, could have found one with a better lid. Put this guy in a nice bright spot and we wait. All right, so while we wait, I wanted to show you guys what just came in. I have these bad boys on the shop. She's watering her plants. Get yourself a Plant Witch shirt. It's available on my Etsy now, and I will link it down below. I'm just getting started out, so even if you just go favorite the shop or like an item, I really, really appreciate it. Make sure you are following me on my Instagram because I promise there will be giveaways coming soon. Leave me a comment below if you have any questions and I will try to answer them as quickly as possible. Don't forget to subscribe for more plant tips and Leca care videos and turn on those notifications if you want to be updated when a new video comes out. Now have a beautiful day because life's too short to have bad days. I love you, plant people. Is that everything? Did I do it?